My name is Saray Robles, and then my team members are Angel Mendoza and Daniel Poblano. And we're going to be presenting Green Points, our solution to San Diego State largest single-use plastic waste contributors. The way that our story begins is, as you guys know, I think most of us are living in California, and we're kind of in the age of environmentally conscious citizens. So if you take a look at these pictures, maybe there are things you've come across before, using reusable cups instead of getting the cardboard ones that you throw away, or switching to bamboo utensils instead of opting for plastic utensils, which are given to you at different restaurants, bringing your own utensils, or bringing your own bag, plastic bag bans in California, and also bamboo toothbrushes and even ocean cleanups. So these sort of things are things we see every day in as we go throughout like our daily lives, and it kind of just got us thinking when we were given a prompt of we can kind of create what we want to focus on for our challenge. And the way that our challenge went was, what can we do to help? We wanted to focus on, the environment, and kind of how Lynn and Ralph talked about, we want to be environmentally friendly. So it started with the main ideas of climate change, straw bans, and California bag bans. And we created an initial problem statement. And throughout the course of this class, we did a lot of changes through it, thanks to Carlos. And we learned how to narrow it down and be more specific, and think about who our target audience is and who we're trying to help specifically. And we moved on to our final problem statement, which is, what is the largest single-use plastic waste production coming from San Diego State students, and how can we encourage them or show them how to permanently reduce their output? And it's also here. Okay, and what we did first for this was we went to interview the campus. This was one of the parts of the course, and we had different demographics. We surveyed random students. We created a list of questions sort of just to guide us when we were interviewing the students, but we also just let them speak and add whatever they wanted. We wanted to create like a friendly environment so that they could share whatever they wanted and guide them in a way, but also have them add any other thoughts they had. So we had random students. We also staked out and we interviewed cleaning staff on campus. So we thought that they would be more familiar with what kind of waste is being produced and how much of it. And we also interviewed people that were involved in green organizations on our campus. Do you have a question? Oh. And what we found on the lower left-hand corner was that the students, when we asked them the question of what do you think is the greatest single-use waste source at SDSU, from our chart you can see that they thought it was wrapping and packaging and water bottles. So we wanted to focus on what our people wanted, and we wanted to take that and then put that into our solution. And from all of this, when we went through all of the surveys and we made some charts and kind of analyzed the data, we came up with some insights that we saw in the patterns from all the people we talked to. And our main insights were that we needed to create a solution that reduced the single-use plastic waste for students that involved incentives. A lot of the students said that they would recycle more, but it wasn't their main priority. And maybe if they had a reason to, they would. The second main insight that we got was that our population didn't really know too much about the recycling options. Even though our specific campus at San Diego State has signs on our recycling and compost bins, even then students don't really know what happens when you recycle things. So we wanted to include, teaching students about it. And our last insight that we wanted to do was we wanted it to be more convenient. A lot of the times, we have the good intentions, but sometimes it's just easier to go get a soda or a cup of coffee with a single-use cup instead of bringing your own cup from home and making sure you do it every day. So these were the things we really wanted to focus on our solution once we started brainstorming. Okay, and these are it. So the top three are the ones we talked about: the motivation, the incentives. We wanted it to be convenient, and we wanted it to teach students. Additionally, we had a brainstorming session, and we created other things. So our things we wanted to focus on for our solution, we wanted to have an accessibility, wanted to be accessible. We wanted it to have a reward system because everybody likes getting things. And we wanted it to help with the convenience option. So we wanted the rewards to, in a sense, be green as well. And to the right, you can see our brainstorming session. And it's just a screenshot of our Zoom meetings. And if you can see what we brainstormed a lot, and kind of what we came up with was we wanted something to do with recycling and trash. And we focused specifically on trash bins that were available at SDSU. So this brainstorming session was actually after our campus was closed. And at first we looked up garbage bins in general. And then we thought it was really important to focus on our community. So we got on Google Maps and we dropped a pin, and we like found trash cans, and we saw what kind of trash cans we have. And we noticed like what our community would be using instead of just using like random ones. So from here, we came up with a solution, and our solution pretty much contained two parts. Our first part is a Green Points kit. So this kit, what it basically does is it is installed into the trash can, the top of a trash can right here. You can see this picture. It doesn't go into the trash can, it's just on top. And it houses a sensor inside on the right-hand corner on the bottom. You can see an imaging sensor. So once a student puts a trash, either like a water bottle or wrapping into it, this sensor would take a picture of it, and it would scan it and analyze what kind of trash it was. And then this would connect to an app which would categorize it and then give the students a point, in a sense. And the green points would add up, and eventually they would get prizes from this. So this is just a prototype, which I will be talking about. And we had two versions. Version A did not work for reasons that I had not thought of. It might fall through. It had nothing to hold it on top. But version B was a much simpler version. And it basically contains just a lid, so no one can get into it. And it has a lock, which is one of the auxiliary parts, which we would just buy. And some screws, which are held together by hex nuts. And then the bottom blue part is just a piece of styrofoam, which would hold the sensor, so it doesn't shake or anything. And then a piece of glass to protect the sensor. And now I will pass you to Angel, who will tell you about the incentives part.
Yeah, so like Saray was saying, we were trying to brainstorm, and going back to the initial points was that they don't have incentive. And so coming from an economics perspective, we know that we treat everybody as rational actors, being the students in this case. So they all want to do what's in their best interest. And that being said, we know that incentive would drive the behavior. So we want them to get into recycling more. And also the opportunity cost would come from not just state itself, but if we focus on that community is more recycling. And like we said, Masari said earlier, is that we're now more focused on being environmentally friendly, right? And so what we design is what we call green points. It's basically just a reward system. And on the next slide, I'll show you.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go. So this is a reward system that we came up with, and obviously the prizes would be, or rewards would be focused on going green as well. We're thinking that the biggest reward would be free student parking permits. And we're hoping that that incentivizes them to stay motivated and change their behaviors to recycle more. And on the next slide, I have one, just a quick example of for the top tier prize, which would be a free student parking, that if it would take roughly around possibly 200 days or so. And that seems like a lot, but we want to incentivize them for the long run and not just, hey, let me recycle 1 or 2 items and then I'm done with this. And so on average, a semester is about 150 days. So that should hopefully incentivize them for not only just 1 semester, but for 2, hopefully, and then just keep on going with the incentive behavior. So, and now I'll pass it on to Daniel.
I guess so. I know a lot of my colleagues have used the word incentivize a lot, but that's not the only thing we want to say and do with this. That's only to get our users basically to download the application so that then we can use that information to spread knowledge and awareness of proper recycling methods. Also sell products that are green, so that way we can help reduce waste. We want to teach people what they can do and what they're doing wrong towards environmentally friendly routines that they have. That way we can, like I said, create more awareness for everybody to know what to do and when to do the correct way to recycle. Can you move to the next slide? So the way the app works is gonna be, it's gonna open up into your camera mode. You're gonna have a QR code in every of the trash cans. All you have to do is basically just take a snapshot of that QR code, and it'll give you basically the points you have for whatever unit you're recycling. But besides that, it's also gonna have a social media aspect to it, where people can post up feeds, leave comments, do DIY tutorials of things they can build with recycled ingredients. The app itself will be economically friendly with something called night mode. So essentially, it'll always run low power voltage. That way, obviously, your phone lasts longer, less recharge, less electricity is consumed. We want to teach students how to be respectful to our environment since we're all sharing it. And we also want to just be mindful that this campus is not only ours, but it's part of everybody who around here who live there. And yeah, we just gotta keep it clean. Can you move? Thank you. Now for future next steps and improvements, we are gonna do something called we essentially want to add Wi-Fi nodes to all the trash cans so we can start gathering data to see which ones are being used more frequent and at what times. Uh, that way we can improve traffic flow so we can have increased recycling at those points. Not only that, we're going to use the data to further improve features for the application itself. Obviously, ask our users what they need, what they want from us, and implement that into it. Um, we also want to do a challenge system where we can get the entire school to participate. That way, everybody's doing a little bit of part and really create a sense of community with this. But like I mentioned earlier, the incentives are just so that people can actually download the application and start using it and start congregating with other people.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's pretty much it.
And the last thing would be just to, if we were able to like be on campus, we would have to launch a campaign to raise awareness and advertising in a green way.